on DAZN worldwide, May 2nd and 3rd. A knockout weekend of boxing. Garcia versus Romero and Canelo versus Skull. 2 huge fights. Pick one or go all in for only $90. Exclusively on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
This is Kugan Cassius for iFLTV. We are in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, ahead of Canelo versus William Skull, live on DAZN tonight. Click the link in description to sign up for DAZN if you haven't already. Delighted to be joined by promoter Ben Shalom. How are you, mate?
Very good.
Yeah.
Delighted to be here in Riyadh. Yeah, it's great. Canelo, main event, doesn't get much bigger.
Before we touch on Canelo, let's talk about Martin Bakole. A few war words this week with FAA Jagba.
Yeah.
Got a bit colourful with the language on the weekend. In the week rather. I mean, what's your thoughts about Bakole going in with Jagba? Obviously, it wasn't that long ago. Obviously, the situation happened here in Riyadh with Parker, but you think he stops him, knocks him out?
He has to. It's a massive fight. Look, there was no pressure with Joseph Parker. There's all the pressure with FAA Jagba. I mean, I think it's number 3 and number 4 in the WBC. IBF number 3, number 10. Martin's still the top 10 in the governing bodies. It's almost an eliminator, final eliminator, to get back into number 1 and 2 spots. He has to win. He has to win. Of course, we know what happened with Joseph Parker, but there's no excuses. We've had a full camp. He's known who he's fighting for a long, long time. Credit to Turkey and the team for sticking to their promise after Martin jumped in at that late notice. It's just a massive fight for Effie as well, you can see, but for Martin it's absolutely must win. You know, we believe he should be winning world titles and be on for winning many world titles, and he can't do that without coming through FAA Jagba. Credit to Jagba, he looks game, he looks ready, he looks like he's ready for a big fight. It could steal the show, but as I said, Martin has to be too much, and yeah, I do expect him to stop him.
So, is this an eliminator for the IBF?
It isn't now. It was supposed to be a final eliminator. I think the WBC is the obvious route. We were just speaking to Maurizio there. It's number 3 and number 4. Lawrence Okole's number 1. Anthony Joshua's number 2. So, winner here puts themselves right in the mix. But what I mean by this is, Martin wins this, he's in the top 3 or 4 in most governing bodies. Martin loses this, it's a long way back for Martin, and we've worked so hard to get him into this position. His profile's gone through the roof. He took a gamble against Joseph Parker, but he has a chance to put that right, and it's a huge fight. It's a huge fight for Billy, and it's a huge fight for Martin.
Do you regret the Joseph Parker situation now, or not?
First of all, it's not my decision. My decision is to do what the team want me to do, and we made that fight. Do I regret it? I'm not the one getting paid absolutely life-changing money for a fight that he believed he wins. Billy and his management team made that decision. My job was to make sure we could make the fight, get him the most amount of money, but also have the FAA Jagba fight. I think without the Jagba fight staying as it was, remember the date hasn't moved. This was always going to be the fight for Martin. He's managed to get a fight in between, earn a lot of money, yes, fall out of the final eliminator situation, but now it's a chance to go right back in there. It was a risk, but if Martin had knocked Joseph Parker out that night and he looked dangerous in the first round before he got caught on the top of the head, and it was a freak situation with the equilibrium and how dizzy he became. But if he'd have knocked him out, it would have been one of the best stories in heavyweight boxing history. So you have to take the rough with the smooth, and look, I'm glad he's back now, and he's in a massive fight, but as I say, it is must win.
Richard Riakporhe is on the bill. He was meant to be, well, he was going to be on the bill for EUBANK and BENN. He's making his debut heavyweight. Spoke to him at quite length yesterday about the Okole situation. Is that a fight that you will revisit with Okole, or not necessarily?
We'd love to. The reality is, and I felt for Richard, he got pulled out on the fight with no reason, with no medical evidence, with nothing, just left. So you can only imagine where that leaves him contractually when he's signed for a fight. In the meantime, we have to keep him busy and get his first fight at heavyweight, and that was the job. And Espindola is a durable guy, only ever been stopped once, I believe, by Fraser Clark, and gone the distance with everyone he's been in there with. So it's a tough, durable opponent to see how Richard fares in the heavyweight division, and over 8 rounds I'm excited to see it. Lawrence Okoli or not, this is his moment to jump into the heavyweight division. We'll see what's next. He's 35 years old. He wants the biggest fights in the division. He wants the big names. He should have already fought Lawrence. We'll see what happens after this, but delighted he's on. And as I say, thank you to His Excellency again, because I think he saw what happened to Richard, and it leaves a sour taste when people know what probably has gone on there. And I'm just delighted and grateful that he gets his opportunity now on a massive card like this, with Billy Nelson, been unbelievable sparring up in Glasgow with Big Martin. And so, yeah, I'm excited. He should have always been at heavyweight, Richard. It was extremely tough at the weight, and I think he can be a real problem. Let's
recap. Obviously, I know you spoke to Joe Pugh a couple of days after Tottenham, Ben EUBANK, exclusive of IFL. I think it was. How many other outlets did you do?
Joe.
Really?
Just Joe, yeah.
Okay, all right. Where do we sit with that now? Because obviously Chris has made some comments in the last couple of days on Sky Sports in terms of any potential rematch. So we're right in saying that if there is a rematch, the same rules apply basically for the first fight in terms of weight, etc., for the second fight. That's true, isn't it?
Most of it is true. There's things that we still have to negotiate. There's things that we still need to get through. There was a lot made of whether Chris was protected in that fight. Ultimately, the fighters decide what weights that they fight at. But he fought at the middleweight limit, the same that he's fought in the last 4 fights. And we did extremely well to get that. Conor Benn was never going to come higher than that. That was the absolute maximum that we could get it at. I think the initial fight was at 157, which when you look at now would have been absolutely horrendous. We as a promoter, I was happy with the middleweight limit, given Chris had been there before, but Chris will make the decisions on weights. His nutritionist, his doctors, they know his body, they know what weight he wants to fight at, and they will make those decisions. We will get him the best terms possible. I thought the promotion was unbelievable. I thought the way he carried himself throughout the promotion was for all to see, and how he came through on the night was special. Will the rematch be exactly the same? I think that's still to be decided.
Aside from the things that are still to negotiate, I'm assuming 2 of the things that are not up for negotiation. One is the weight. It's a chopstick, a random chopstick here. One is the weight, and the next thing is the rehydration. Those 2 things are non-negotiable, I'm assuming, yes?
If the rematch happens, it's going to be at 160. The rehydration, I think we all have to decide as a group, as a people that are supposed to look after the sport, as everyone involved have to decide whether 1, it's necessary, and 2, whether we should be agreeing something like that. Let's see. There's a lot to discuss. I'm here. Big Turk is on his way, and I'm sure we'll talk about the rematch and everything to do with it. But let's see what happens next. Chris is in a great spot. I think there are still things, as I said, to be looked at and to be discussed. But the story of EUBANK Ben is way bigger than before the fight. It's now even bigger, and delighted for Junior that the attention, the adulation, the respect that he deserves, and let's see what happens next.
Can you make comment on reports about the Boxing Board of Control and their investigation into how Chris was losing that weight?
They seem to love to investigate Chris over everything. I'm not sure what they're looking at, whether it's what he said or the pictures or anything. Chris doesn't hide anything. He's an open book. Everyone's tried to stop him being an open book in the past, whether it's promoters, whether it's fighters, whether it's... He's his own man. And if you want to keep fining him for it, I think people are falling in love with Chris Eubank Jr. because he's shown us who he is and he's been honest about who he is. Are there elements that may... Look, I need to look back at the footage, but from my understanding, I know as much as you about that. All I would say is get off his back and give this man a pat on the back, because what he's just done for your sport and for British boxing and bringing it all together and the numbers that he's reached and everywhere needs to be commended, not punished.
Have you had no contact with the board regarding what I've just asked you then? No.
I don't believe so.
Okay, you mean someone in your team may have done? Yeah.
But it's not escalated to anywhere right now. We've appealed the egg slap fine. See where that goes. But as I say, leave the poor man alone. What he's just been through, what he's just done, what he's just brought together for British boxing, how he's conducting himself. He's a role model. He's someone that I'm extremely proud to be associated with and someone that British boxing should be extremely proud to have.
Was the fine for the weight miss appealed?
The fine for the weight miss was nothing to do with the board. Yeah. I'm not going to speak too much on commercial contracts because we're very happy with how it's been resolved. It is what it is, and Chris is very happy. And as I said, another crazy. He missed it by, what was it, half an ounce?
0.5 of an ounce, is it?
I mean, and they gave him 10-15 minutes. They were all stood in a room because we had one representative from each team left in there. And they all stood in a room and then didn't say anything, and then suddenly told him he had 4 minutes to go. He's half an ounce off. If he'd gone for a shit, he would have been on the limit. So he did extremely well to make the weight. He then made the rehydration, which was the more contentious weight, and he's again done it very well. And luckily, we're all good. And as I say, let's celebrate Chris Eubank Jr. because what he did on Saturday night was nothing short of phenomenal.
I think he was asked a question about Canelo, who is obviously in action later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Obviously, that is a fight that there were talks before a few months ago that Chris spoke about. Is that something that you will look to revisit over the next 6 to 8 months, if there's a potential of... We know Canelo's kind of next fight after this is already, but even after that, could be a target, so maybe even 12 months.
Yeah, Chris is going to box this year again, and then we want Canelo. It's the dream fight. Canelo wants to fight in the UK, he wants to fight at Wembley. There's no other one that can sell Wembley. Eubank Jr. against Canelo, I believe it happens for both of them as their first fight next year. I really do. I know His Excellency's up for it, we're up for it, Canelo's up for it, Eubank Jr.'s up for it, and what a dream fight that would be. Of course, you know, where it happens will have to be negotiated, but hearing Canelo wanting to fight in the UK is music to our ears, and what a joy it would be for British boxing to have Canelo fight over in the UK, and to do it as someone with as much star appeal now as Eubank Jr. would be absolute. Can you imagine the press? Absolutely enormous. But we're probably going to have a very tough fight this year that we understand that we have to come through convincingly to get the Canelo fight. Because
His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has said that September he would like to see that rematch. Is that correct? Yeah, between Ben and Eubank.
He has. I think we know how big that rematch is. We can't announce things before they're announced. We can't announce things before it's all done. We can't say something's going to happen. Ultimately, it's up to the fighters what they want to do. We're all subject to what they want to do. And for us, it's just about making sure that Chris gets the best out of every situation possible. He's the A side in every fight that he could possibly go into at the moment, especially in the UK. So yeah, he'll fight this year, and then we want Canelo. It has to be Canelo. I believe it will be Canelo. If it's in Riyadh, it's in Riyadh. Of course, we want it in London at Wembley Stadium, and Chris will shock the world.
Well, listen, it certainly was an epic night at Tottenham. Brilliant atmosphere, all the ingredients of. Well, it's just all kind of worked out well. Obviously, not for kind of Ben on the night, but as a night as a whole, it was quite a spectacular night. It was.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. Even for Conor, let's be honest, he was a lot better than a lot of people expected.
Conor's stock's gone up definitely in this, and yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of media since, definitely, but I think Conor Penn gave a performance that was better than everyone expected. Chris Eubank Jr. was still the comfortable winner, even at whatever was going on in his camp. But credit to both of them. They gave us an unbelievable fight. It was an unbelievable night. One I'll never forget. Probably, yeah, one I will never forget. One British boxing will never forget. One that we're still talking about a week later, even though everything else that's going on in boxing, it was special. And I do want to say Vidal Riley on that night. Obviously, Chris Billam-Smith put in a great performance against Brandon Glanson, so great to have him back in the match mix. But Vidal Riley was absolutely phenomenal. He is the one to watch in that cruiserweight division. He's going right to the top, and with the following and the backing that he has, it's yeah, it was the night where Vidal Riley was born as well. So unbelievable night.
Who did the seating plan? You sat next to Frank Warren. Did you guys talk on today?
I think they stitched me up. They put me. I had Eddie on the left and Frank on the right. But both of them screaming for Conor Ben. It was painful. Could hardly hear or see. Proper.
What
both.
was they shouting? Like, lick him up, lick him up.
Knock him out, knock him out. Lick him up. No, he wasn't saying that. But they were both animated with the thought of Conor Ben knocking out Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, it was. But no, it was good to see. It was fine with Frank. Look, business is business, but it is what it is, and it was good to get the win. It was great. It was a giant killing. It felt promotionally in the sense we've had a few big wins. Ben Whittaker was massive, where they're all vying for Whittaker to get knocked out. I mean, I can only imagine the looks on the TV screens and how much they wanted that to go wrong. Vidal Riley, Chris Billam-Smith, and then the big one, Eubank Jr. It's been sweet, I have to say. I've taken a lot of losses and a lot of beatings from both of them. So it was great. It's great to have had such a great 2 weeks, and I love boxing, British boxing. It's just unbelievable, and yeah, to be sat in between Eddie and Frank whilst they both vying for Junior's downfall was something I'll remember for a while.
All right, well, listen, we can wrap it up now.
We're going to...
What am I going to?
What time is it? What time is it?
We've got a few hours yet. We're all right.
I'm going to sleep. I've never known the fight card. What is it? Martin Bakole's on at 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
That's here, 4 a.m. here. Just run me through, obviously, the next few weeks, what you've got coming up. We know you've got Callum Simpson coming up on the 7th of June.
Mark Jeffers was going to fight Iglesias on July 12th. We got an offer for that. We accepted it. I don't know what's gone away, but he'll now go on the Callum Smith card. Adam Azim back out in July. nothing in August. Then Whittaker and Whittaker will headline in September. Lauren Price as well to come back. We're working on
TKV and
TKV and Adelaide is looking like, I don't want to say exactly, June, July.
on your show.
We're discussing with my new best mates now at Queensbury. They're here. They're in the same hotel. So I might go and wake Frank up from his afternoon snooze. Say, come on, son. But that fight will get done. So that's going to land in the summer as well. Things are looking good. Things are in a great place. I've had a good couple of weeks. A massive night tonight for Martin and Richard. And then some big announcements to come for Adam Azim.
Ben Shalom, much appreciate your time. We will speak to you after Bakole's fight with F.A. Jagba.
Yes.
Again, live on the Zone tonight. Have you got anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thanks to everyone for getting. I think Chris Eubank Jr., the whole of British boxing has fallen in love with him, so I think that's great to see, and long may it continue. Let's see what happens next.
Thank you very much.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, May 2nd and 3rd, a knockout weekend of boxing. Garcia versus Romero and Canelo versus Skull. 2 huge fights. Pick one or go all in for only $90. Exclusively on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.